Hello, this is Hoodie VR, also known as Poppet. Um, I am going to do a very shitty explanation on how I make hands. Now, keep in mind, there are several ways to make hands, but this is just an easy version for people who don't really like making hands from a cube and extending. So I had found out how to make a simple hand thingy. Keep in mind, this is not the best tutorial, and I don't really recommend this for anyone but beginners. So first, as I shown here, you take a plane, go here, go to Add, Mesh, Plane. Once you have this plane selected, go to Edit Mode. Go from Z view, which would be the upper view. Now from here, you would select the knife tool. Now, you would kind of build this out in the shape of however hands you want it to do. So, for more understanding, I'm going to do it. Not, oh my God, please ignore that. Okay, so there is two ways. There is a way that you can cut it out manually using a knife tool, just going like this and cutting out fingers. Do I recommend this method? In my personal opinion, no. Simply because this method is really hard to do and it includes a lot of self restraint to not punch your windowsill. But just because I already did it, I'm gonna show you guys how to make a small little mitten hand. First you take a hand like this using a knife tool. Um, get rid of the edges that you just created. Extrude it up, and then after selecting, uh, don't subdivide. You would manually. Oh shit! You can see why I don't do tutorials. Um, for extruding, you would connect the vertices, but just basically connect vertice to vertice, um, so you can easily measure it. Um, Now, I do not suggest this method. This is a method I would suggest with doing my next thing, which is making wings and making um, different types of. A lot of things can be used using planes and just popping them out. Um, I do not suggest hands as one of them, but in case you do want to actually do that, I guess this is how you would. Um, Again, I do not know how this would go with bones and having to um, weight paint it, so I do not suggest it. But for any of those anybody out there who just goes fuck it, I'm gonna do it anyway. Um, this is pretty much how you do it. Now it doesn't need to be good or really even perfect, but this is just a simple way. Now you would fix any mistakes that you want by going here, proportional editing, and me personally, I would just shape this out to however you want it to be. But for simplicity, I am simply doing some mitten hands. And so from here, you would basically just extrude, 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 and smooth again. And boom, that's how you make a simple pair of mitten hands. And if you want to have extra fingers, you could do it the method that I use sometimes, which is to oh shit, let me explain. You click Control B, and then you can like I really don't know what this is called. I'm really not professional at Blender. Then going to transparent mode, you would delete these vertices here by faces. Now this is the part where you would have to select. So to select these specific vertices, you would click Alt Shift, select these. Um, Unselect this side and fill in this side. So now you can see this side of the vertice is now filled in. Can you put grid fill? No, okay, so you can't put grid fill with this, but you can fill that in. And you can do the same for this side, where you would grab only these vertices, fill that in. Clicking, for anybody who doesn't know how to fill, simply select this, then click F. And that's how you fill that specific spot. Then you click down here as well, fill, and boom, now you have an extra pair of fingers. Now, if you don't think that they're smooth enough, you would take the knife tool in the same way that you did it for here. You would cut out specific vertices on this as well. So you could have, so you can smooth out this area basically. Um, Sorry, this part's taking forever. Trust me. The main way I do hands, not always, but just sometimes, is not like this. Um, so after you put a couple of vertices here, you would then, oop, oh, sorry, my bad. You would then smooth it again, and now you have an extra pair of fingers now. Um, that's kind of too high up, so next time do it at the same length that you have these fingers. Do them at the same length. Oh my god, I cannot. You see this dip right here? You would put this finger line thingy straight to that line, not as high up as I. But don't listen to me. If you want it to be that high up and you want to look like red guy from the Hug Me I'm Scared, go ahead. But that's how to do mitten hands. Of course there are plenty of other ways to do it, but that's just one way I know how to do it using a plane. Now again, this is just a mitten hand, so we will take this and put this to the side. Now again, we will take a plane. Now using a plane, we will grab um sorry, we will subdivide and we will subdivide again. So subdivide twice. These in the middle, you click Alt Shift, grab this, bevel, move it slightly. Alt Shift, grab, bevel slightly. And then again on this here. Now you may be wondering what is this for? Well, these will act as your knuckle points. So going to edge select, you would select 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, of course, you don't have to have 4 fingers. You can always just have like 3, 2, however many you want. But for this, we are going to go with 4. Extrude them upwards by clicking E and then Y in case you want them to go into the Y axis only. Now, me personally, I always smooth the top by right clicking, then put smooth vertices. Now, in case you want a thumb as well, you do the same, but for a thumb. So you would select these 2 vertices over here. Using Shift, you can select both. Extrude, tilt it a little bit. Using R, you can tilt it, do it again, and then again. Now, trust me, this hand is not going to look the best, but this is not supposed to be professional. If there's any mistakes, you can always just go back and fix them. Trust me, when there's always about trial and error. I have been making models for like a year now, and I still am learning how to perfect my stuff. Now, from here, you are going to pull it out again, and pull it out a third time. Then from here, select all of it and subdivide again. Now, you may be saying, okay, this is a really high poly hand, but don't worry. From here, smooth vertices. Now, you can simply leave it at this, but in case you think that looks a little bit weird, you would click Alt S. Now, Alt S can make it more chunky or more slim. So, clicking Alt S, personally, I make it really chunky and then I smooth it. Now, from here is when I shape it to how I want it to look. So, by selecting a vertex, you can shape it into however you want the hand to look. Me personally, I'm going for a more cartoony effect. So, I would make the hands look more cartoony. And I would stretch out the fingers to look however I want. Now, in case you don't want to grab all of them, you put connected only. So I'll only grab parts that are connected instead of all the fingers. And that way, your hand kind of looks like this. Now, if you think the hand is too slim, you would go to scale. And by using uh, the scale option, you can scale it however you want to. So in case you want to make it bigger, you want to make it smaller, you want to make it thinner, however much you want it to be. So for this, I'm going to make it bigger. And in case you still think, maybe the hand's a little bit too big, you can always size it back down or size it up more by using Alt S. So, in case you have a problem with the fact that the tips are a little bit too sharp, I will select the vertices of each tip, use this green one, and just round them out a little bit. That's just me. Sometimes I don't like the fingers that are too pointed. And that's how to make a more cartoony hand. Now you may be saying that is a very, very high poly hand. So I would suggest go to decimate, which can be found in the modifier. Right. Where is it? Right here. Okay. So you go to unsubdivide and unsubdivide by. I would always suggest using 2 because using 1 will give you these weird jagged patterns, and from personal experience, this not only messes up weight painting, but it messes up texturing and all sorts of stuff. So I wouldn't recommend this. So I would subdivide by 2, remove it, and add a subdivision surface. This can also be helpful for if you want a more rounded out edges instead of the more jagged ones that we had before. Now, this can really help you also, in case you don't want the weird outlines, you can always go here and put on cage. Now you can shape it out however you want. And then when you're done here, subdivide. Now it's still a little bit high poly, but you can always fix that yourself in case you don't like it. And smooth it out however you want. And that's just a more simple way to make hands. Now you can also use this method to um, using the subdivision. If we can go back, clicking Control Z, you can go back. In case you want, you can always remove the bottom half here, select by faces, and you can build the rest of the arm. And I say that this method isn't really the best, but it isn't the worst either, and it's really easy for those who just want to make simple stuff without having to worry. Now, with the arm, in case you feel like the arm is too skinny, you can always use the bevel tool. This is the best example, but you can always use the bevel tool and shape it out more. I would always suggest to only use this after you apply the subdivision. That way you can have a more bigger field on what you're doing. And in case the arm is too much, just slim it down. And move everything. And that's how you get an arm. Trust me, you're going to get weird proportions like this. The beauty of Blender is that you can always fix it. So for weird spots like this, you can always just move them out, or you can size them down. And in case they look a little bit too chunky on one end, where that's not really realistic to a wrist, you can always just, it's all about trial and error. Like I said, this isn't the most perfect arm. It isn't even realistic by any chance, but I don't really make realistic models, so this is a simple way to make a hand. Is it really high poly? Yes. Is it helpful at least for beginners? Yes, because I struggled with making hands on my models for a very long time. So this method helps with not only making human hands, but monster hands, puppet hands, any type you would like. And that is how you make both puppet hands and absolutely large human hands, kind of. You can also use this method for more talented sculptors to then sculpt out your hands and do it that way. Put creases, put whatever you want to make more detailed hands. I would suggest use sculpt mode with more high poly stuff so you don't get weird edges like this. And yeah, that's my approximation on how to make human hands. I'm gonna end this video because I do not know how long this is. And yeah, I'm gonna try to record more tutorials by the end of tonight. But that's how to make simple, quick hands for beginners. If there's any more questions, feel free to ask.